I'm not cut out. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, he's only in Denver, like, he's only being out like when he has that better, he comes like a full week. So he's spent like 1 week everywhere. He doesn't have the place in the race. So like, yeah, I mean, that's how are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Boner Theater! 10 stand-up comedians, the likes of which are going to knock your socks right off, so I hope you're not too attached to them. So, before we get started with that, I've got an announcement to make. Due to illness, the part of Christopher Parker Howard will be played by Flesh Bohansky. Please welcome to the stage your MC for the evening, Flesh Bohansky. Well, hello! So here we are, doing the stand-up showcase. How excited are we? Very excited. Oh, I love it. I'm as excited as that time I went thrifting and I found lingerie, used lingerie in a thrift store. How do you beat that as a find? What happened to that relationship for that to be there? There are so many questions. I have a lot of weird questions. For instance, do you know that really famous guy, Prince? Everybody familiar with Prince?
Yes.
Right? Okay, good. I think that everybody kind of thinks of Prince in a specific way, like, you know, he was this musical genius, he did all these things, he lived for a long, long time, and then he was gone, he was a symbol for a little while. All of these things we remember, but the thing that I think people forget is that he was incredibly fucking weird. He was really weird, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Prince was coded when you looked at him like a pansexual nymph grown out of the woods. Like a Vegas showgirl turned into a Jehovah's Witness. He was a 5'2" black man with the face of a Latino woman. He was a paradox, the likes of which we are never likely to see again. And it's incredible. He would go out and sing about things that would get him excommunicated from the church, and then go home and refuse a blood transfusion. He was really, really interesting. But one of the more interesting things is, he had a hit song called Kiss. Do you remember that song? Show of hands, anybody remember Kiss? Okay, yeah. They play it in grocery stores. They play it at the dentist's office while you're getting your teeth cleaned. It's a song that's become a pop song, and people forget how weird the song was. And I'll tell you why. Because, thank you, sir. This is going well. The weird thing about this song is that he doesn't really sing it. He kind of whispers it at you, like it's a secret. Like, the music starts, and it's this great music, you know, it's very 80s, and doing the thing, it's doing that, only better. And then he comes in, and he's just kind of, right? Exactly. And everyone's like, oh my, I don't have to do what? That sounds scandalous. But then, like, I imagine the recording engineer that day, like, setting everything up, getting it all ready. It's a good gig. Prince is very popular. And so he's sitting there, and Prince is up in the recording booth, kind of going, and he's,
Your Highness. Just checking if this is the actual singing, or if you're just warming up in there, because I'm at the door, and we kind of hear what you're doing, but we don't really know what you're saying, so if you could just maybe enunciate a little bit more, that'd be great.
and then Prince says, I know exactly what you need. And he continues to whisper until, at one point in the song, he decides to screech like a horny pterodactyl. It's incredible. And like, again, they play this when people are in the dentist office getting their teeth clean, they're just sitting up. And then you hear this part of the song where he's just going, it's wild. And that is the kind of thing that gets me really excited. But the other thing that gets me excited is that these students have been practicing their stand-up skills, getting very, very good, and I cannot wait to show these people to you. Are you ready to see some stand-up comedy? Yes! Excellent. Now, before we get started, there is one thing that I have to do. I've decided that tonight, I'm going to be doing something all night long, and I'm going to go to you, the audience, for some celebrities, so that I can show you a micro impression. I do impressions, but I do micro impressions. They're very small and they're very specific. So you, sir, who's a famous person?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, great. All right, here's Mark Wahlberg being asked if he wants cheese on his hamburger. Yeah. All right, thank you. All right. And now, coming to the stage, a man who doesn't know the meaning of the word cheese. Please welcome Pablo!
Give it up for Fletch, man. He's great. Yeah, I'm waiting for those micro impressions. These are me to go. I'm gonna throw some good ones out later, so just keep your ears out. But on a serious note, people have a difficult. Gee, all right. Well, I think it's quite serious. People have a difficult time accepting my lifestyle, and given the political climate, I think it's really telling of like the lack of empathy in our society. I'm not gay or anything. I just happen to be 30 and live with my grandma still. But those people who can't tolerate me, they're just jealous because I did the math. You gotta make well over 6 figures to live the lifestyle I have. You think about it. I gotta live in maid, cook, landscaper. I'm putting this bitch to work. She's my banker too. I can't tell you how many loans I've defaulted on her. But my actual credit's pristine. I'm almost at 850, so shout out Gammy. But no, seriously, I mean, I generally just do like Uber drives for my grandma in exchange for like shelter, food, my laundry folded. You know, I don't like doing laundry. I don't know anybody that does. But the best part is when I'm out in like the world, just driving around, and I see a fellow rent-free ranger that's out in the wild. I'm like, just so you can, just to put you on game, how you can spot them out. They're typically wearing video game shirts. They got a Pokemon, Power Ranger, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering. If they got something nerdy on, you're halfway there. They got flip-flops. Dead giveaway. Big in the community. I'm not about it, but you know, it's one of the things. Also, they're driving a really nice car. It's typically their mom's car. In my case, it's my grandma's car, so if you see me driving out there, hey, go ahead, hit me head on. I'm not on the insurance. But yeah, no, I've kind of just slowly started accepting the deadbeat uncle lifestyle. I feel like Uncle Rico and Napoleon Dynamite. Throw a football over them hills. Tell you what. But one of my favorite things is putting my like younger relatives onto like some powerful knowledge, like how to build a balanced Pokemon team, or why Magic the Gathering sucks now. And the Star Wars prequels really weren't that bad. That's like my big thing. And honestly, I really do miss it. I miss when George Lucas owned Star Wars. It had a lot more heart and ethnic accents. They're afraid. They're afraid of throwing some ethnic accents, and we're losing ethnic accents. It's all Eurocentric now. Go out and watch something. Go out, see what Disney's producing. It's all Eurocentric accents. George Lucas had the bravery to be like, make that alien sound Asian. Let's go. And I'm like, I'm all for it. So if I want to do that accent, I have to be quoting Newt Gunray from Star Wars The Phantom Menace. This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. Just hunting down Jedi. Nothing wrong with that. And people give me a lot of shit for liking Jar Jar Binks. But honestly, if you told me there was a planet full of Jamaicans, I'm on the first space shuttle out of here, man. Me and Chet Hanks, first class. You guys don't like oxtail stew? Shit, I'm there. Big up to the island in the sky. You guys big Stranger Things fans? All right, cool. Yeah, I feel like older liberals really like Stranger Things. Just saying. It's cool. I hate it. I hate Stranger Things. Not for the reason that you're thinking. I don't like Stranger Things because it made Dungeons and Dragons too popular. When I started seeing people that used to beat my ass for playing Dungeons and Dragons, I was kind of pissed. I was like, this is bullshit. Those wounds don't heal easy. But recently there's like a controversy to remove racism completely from the Dungeons and Dragons world. Which, you know, you don't have to put racism in your D&D adventures. That's cool. But to remove it completely, I feel is like an insult to the topic at large. Because I'm in that camp that feels like you can teach people through racism. Hear me out. I do some volunteer work teaching at the library, teaching kids how to play Dungeons and Dragons. And recently I had a group of kids. I sent them on a quest. I was like, all right, you guys have been hired by a group called the Imperial Crown Enforcers to kill all the goblins in the region. And kids, they're not dumb. They're smart. They ask questions. Oh, why we gotta kill the goblins? Oh, well, Billy, the officer tells you, well, these goblins are taking jobs from humans. They're working for silver pieces instead of gold pieces. And it's really messing up the economy. Well, what jobs are they taking? Mostly the jobs that the humans don't want. Why don't they want? Why are you so upset? It's a really good question, Jimmy. Take that 20-sided die and roll an insight check, see if you can figure it out. Oh, a natural 20. All right, with that high of a roll, you know that the Orange King of this realm is being blackmailed by a foreign entity because he was caught kidnapping young witches and wizards to an evil island. And he's using these goblins as a scapegoat for the real evil, which is him and his, noble friends. Oh, wow! They loved it. I was like, before you can do that, though, you gotta go to a prison and break out this dashing young rogue. His name is Luigi. He'll give you your next prize. They loved it. They loved it. It's a good time. I'm glad you guys like that. I'm Pablo, and that was my time.
Give it up for Pablo. All right, we're going to keep this train rolling. I'm not going to talk a whole lot. Like I said, I'm just gonna come out here and do some micro impressions. I think that's all we need, right? They're so fun. You, sir, give me a famous person.
Famous person. Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken, great. All right. This is Christopher Walken with a scratch-off ticket. Where it's he gets 2 cherries and then a lemon. All right. Oh. Hey. Oh. All right. Thank you. All right. Yeah. And now, coming to the stage, a man who embodies the justice of this world because his name is that. Please welcome my favorite person with that name and yours, Joe Justice.
Come out, you beast. It's wonderful to be here. I hope you're happy you're here. I'm a little off because I took a nap this afternoon and I can't get my hair to do a damn thing. But I'm here to tell you a story. And to tell you the story, I had to look something up on Google today. Are you aware of the fact that the Earth, as it moves through space, that within a year we move 298 billion miles? And that makes the statement of this story I'm about to tell you, which actually you'll probably think that you've heard it before, somewhat true. Because once upon a time, a long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I was an aspiring actor living in New York. I started my acting career when I was 20, and by the time I was 25, which took a while, I got one job, a day's work, 2 lines on a TV show, which got me in the Screen Actors Guild, and I thought I was hot stuff. So the deal is, though, I didn't want to just be a TV actor. I wanted to be the next Brando, the next Pacino. Pacino was kind of my age, so I didn't want to be him at that time. But anyway, I went to New York, and 3 years of nothing. No acting, no love relationship, which goes hand in hand with no sex. That New Year's Eve, when I was 28, I was sitting in my tiny little New York apartment, and I felt like a caged animal. So I hit the streets. I walked from the east side, Lower East Village, where I was living, over to the west side, because there was a party going on that I knew about. And I stood outside, the typical peacoat James Dean's brooding on the streets of New York, looking at those people inside there and realizing, I'm gonna go in there, I'm not gonna be able to talk to anybody, because I wasn't very good at that, and I'm gonna just be miserable. So I just said, screw it, I'm going down to Wall Street. I used to love to go to Wall Street. I don't know if you know New York, it's like a long hot dog. At the bottom of the hot dog is Wall Street. And if you went there in the evening, or on the weekends, like Sunday morning, you were the only person on the streets. It was like being in one of those movies where everybody else has died and you're just sitting all by yourself. But on the way down there, I was passing the World Trade Center, it's off to my side, and about a block away I could see St. Paul's Chapel. I don't know if any of you know it, but there was a scaffolding going all the way up to the steeple. and my brain went to a very strange place. You see, when you live in New York, which is the most populated city in the United States, and it's New Year's Eve, where it is the most populated, and every single person you see, your brain thinks this is the result of two people having sex. And you're in your mid-20s, and you're not getting any. So it became very clear to me, I needed to climb that steeple. I needed to achieve something. So if I can paint this picture for you briefly, the chapel itself is this very dark Gothic, built in the 1700s church, with a main building and then a steeple about 5 stories tall. And behind it is this old cemetery, the kind that has the headstones missing the letters. And around the whole complex is this 6-foot-tall wrought iron fence with these spikes that point right up at your crotch as you climb over them. But I made it over. And I walked up to the scaffolding by the church and realized I might slip if I didn't take off my gloves, so I took them off, and it was so cold that night. When I grabbed those bars, it almost felt like it burned. But 10 or 15 minutes, I was up on top of that main building. And I looked off to my side and realized that the scaffolding that went up to the steeple was on the other side of the building. So I was going to have to go down and over and back up. And I thought, you can't even go crazy well. But just then, a cab drives up and parks back by the cemetery. The driver gets out, he walks over by the fence, and he starts taking a leak. And a moment of inspiration hit me. And with the voice of God, I said, "You defile the house of God!" And to this day, I don't think I've ever seen a human move so fast. Whether it was the echo of those tall buildings or that scary cemetery he was next to, or all that money I spent on acting classes, on New York 2nd, he was gone. And the humor of it took the weight of the world off my shoulders. And so I leave you with this. If you're ever at the end of the rope, just do what you're doing tonight. Look for the comedy.
Joe Justice, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, I think by this point in the show we should know what time it is. Yes, it's micro impression theater. That's correct. This guy gets it. He's ready. What about you? Are you ready? All right. Can you give me the name of a famous person?
Yes, Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen. All right, great. All right, so this is Bruce Springsteen being asked if this was his sandwich. No. All right, here we go. All right, so right now, speaking of things that used to be but aren't anymore, there's a word for that. And do you know what it is? Ben!
Oh God, why are people here? Bunker Theater. I will say this though, it's the only place where a bunker buster is an explosion of laughter, not lethal force. He's studying munitions somewhat. Anyway, my bad. Overall though, I will say this, it works when not every joke has to kill. And overall, it helps. The U.S.'s strongest bunker buster is called the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. MOP. Yeah, I know, I had to memorize that. And overall, it makes it, I wish I could use that at work, because I'm a janitor. Yeah, I just want to go onto the radio and say, bring the mop in. But they never let me. And I'll say this, some of the messes that you sickos leave give me IBS. Irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah, and all these messes, they tend to have code names. We got our code Browns, which look like a monkey threw something on the wall. We got our code Reds. Those are usually on the women's side. And then the worst ones, those are called fireworks because something blew up in there, but it is not pretty. So here's what named them. Now, I get into work one day and I get told where I'm going to be. I'm excited because these restrooms were just remodeled, so I wanted to see what changed. I get over to my station, close the restrooms up, and walk over to a stall, open it up, immediately walk out and tell my boss I quit. To paint the picture, Bob Ross would be disappointed. It looked like someone drank a blend of coffee and ghost peppers, let it stew, then didn't even bother to aim their happy little accident. And I have to imagine our Jackson Apollock was looking at it and was just at the time going, "Whoo! I feel better." I would just flush through, "Holy! When did I have corn?" Last time I got ghost pepper mocha. Ghost pepper mocha. The name's too on the nose. It stinks. So did that mess, but. And I'll say this, you want to sell a drink with one of the world's 15 hottest peppers? Change the name. Use the original name, in my opinion. Boot Jolakia. Sounds more exotic. Plus, the name is from Assam, India. It's legitimately Assamese. Can you even imagine that ad?
From the makers of the cold brew macchiato, Forager's Coffee presents their hottest drink yet, the Jolakia Spice Latte. With the Jolakia Spice, you'll stay warm all winter. Thanks to the Jolakia Spice, you'll be swimming through the snows and summer will go. And you'll keep going through the night thanks to Jolakia Spice. No capsaicin about our 1 out of 10 proctologist recommendation. With Jolakia Spice, your boot will be ready for your next colonoscopy. Sorry, pumpkin. There's a new spice this fall. But wait.
While you guys are listening to that annoying ad, I'm actually having to clean this mess and my IBS is kicking in. Why is it on the ceiling? For all the bad messes though, I will mention the fun ones. My favorite. I get into work and I happen to be early, so I just sit down on the chair and play some games. My boss walks in and he sees me playing games and just says, "Hey Ben, I know it's your second day and all, but can you help me clean up some blood?" I'm not helping you hide a body. So, in a weird twist of fate, I get promoted from janitor to CSI, crap scene investigator. And I have to go through the parking lot to find out what happened. So I do. I get my oversized bubble wand, dip it in, go through the parking lot trying to find the blood trail. Eventually, I hear some footsteps come up to me. A witness? No, just some woman looking for Applebee's. Eventually, a witness does come up to me, and I arrest them with some fluffy pink handcuffs from a prior woman. And I find out what happened. Apparently, 2 guys got into a fight in the parking lot, and while they did so, they eventually threw hands. One of them gets cocked in the nose, and in their daze, winds up walking their way into the bathroom, giving us a rare code red on the men's side. Now, after they tell me the story, I realize that my CSI license does not have legal obligations, or legal binding, I mean, and overall, I just say, "Hey, sorry, could we not talk about this? Also, I don't have a key." Well, don't worry about it. I can tell you right now, I'm fine with this. It's not the first time by any means, and you have a Jolakia Spice. Thank you.
tell you, that story holds a very special place in my heart because I too have had terrible jobs. This one time I had a job at a gas station, and it was a third shift job, which was great for stealing. Because you assume that, you know, they don't pay you much so that you can steal. That was the deal that I thought was happening, but apparently that's not true. But one night when I was working in this, it was a Dunkin' Donuts gas station combination. And so I was in this third shift gas station, and I'm waiting for my break, and these two guys come in, and they start walking around, and I'm like, oh, God, this is tedious. I want to go on my break. They're not buying anything, they're just walking around, and the one guy keeps saying, hey, can I steal this? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I steal too. So then they didn't like the way I was talking to them, and so one of them comes up and he pulls a gun on me, and I know, I'm in the future, so I know what happened. But the guy pulls a gun on me, but I looked at it and I thought, that looks suspiciously like a pellet gun. So I didn't take it seriously. And so he threatens me with it, and I say, if you're going to shoot me, I should at least be able to have my last cigarette. And so I walked outside, and they watched me walk outside, and I left them in there, and I went out and I had a smoke, and then they came out, and they looked at me as they walked away. Now, the fun part of this story is later that night when the police came and said, did you see anyone strange tonight? And I said, I work third shift. Everyone is strange. So they showed me a picture of the two guys, and I was like, oh, yeah, I saw those guys. I was messing with them. And he said, yeah, they shot and killed the clerk at the hotel next door. I quit that job immediately. Well, actually not immediately. One thing did happen first. I thought about quitting, but I didn't quit. I had one more couple of months of shifts. A couple of months passed, nobody caught him. This is in Michigan. Crime is more polite. They gave me time to process. And so I'm working my shift, and I see those two guys starting to come in I know. So I see them coming in, and I start freaking out. My heart's just pounding in my chest. And then, right into the parking lot, pulls a bus full of Canadians who were on their way home from a Christian rock concert. And they come in, and of course, they're tourists. They want to buy everything. So they're trying on t-shirts and getting mugs and keychains. Meanwhile, these guys are just sitting at a table over on the Dunkin' Donuts side watching, and then they leave, and I quit that job because I wasn't equipped for combat pay. But speaking of things that you can do and not get paid a lot of money for, our next comedian is going to do something very fun for you. But don't think I didn't forget about the micro-impression theater. Before we get on to that, let's see. How about you, sir? You, sir. Yeah, who's a famous person? RuPaul. RuPaul. All right, here we go. This is RuPaul stepping in something. Ew. All right, please welcome to the stage, my friend and yours, Jessica Renee!
Hello. How are we tonight? Feeling pretty good. So who here is a California native? No? So the rest of us are transplants. Hello, welcome. I originate from the East Coast, Maine specifically, and I love California, hence why I moved here. I will say the biggest adjustment that I've had to make that I was reflecting on today is that changing my relationship to fire, right? See, I grew up with a wood stove, for starters, so I started fire often. We had a bonfire pit in the backyard, and literally for fun, we would go into the woods and light fires, right? That's how we communed. Now I'm fearful of fire, and I can't light anything. So it's very difficult. And so the only time recently that I got to experience fire excitingly was during a protest. But unfortunately, it's a little chaotic, and I can feel almost like, am I an arsonist? I don't know. I'm like, burn that bus, do it. I will hold your things for you. So anyways, I daylight as a therapist, and being a therapist is very layered. I wear many hats. You know, we're taught to kind of be a blank canvas for who's ever sitting across from us, so you can project your shit onto me, and that's how we work through it. So the three common layers that I often have to face is that I often come across maybe as a motherly figure, right? And I notice that because I'm two-faced. Right? On one hand, I'm going to speak really kindly and compassionate towards you, because I am compassionate. I'm going to speak in docile tones, like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. You are right, you should be upset. Right? Have you tried burning the bus? But on the other hand, if you don't show up to our agreed upon meeting or cancel on me last minute, I will charge you $85. The next is, therapy is, it's work, right? And the work often is akin to your annual or biannual pap smear or prostate exam. Because it is intrusive, but you're going to appreciate it in the end. You don't want to leave any rocks unturned. And the last is my favorite, because I often get to feel like I'm Superman / Clark Kent. I'll explain. When I'm out off duty, I am like Clark Kent. I don't want anyone to know I'm Superman. I don't want you to know I'm a therapist, right? I should have freedom to act unhinged, to, I don't know, light a bus on fire. So I disguise myself, right? But every now and then, I'm gonna get the call. That's not really a call, it's more of a buzz, because it's usually a text or an email. Someone's in crisis, right? So I'm just hanging out, helping to pour the alcohol into the glass bottle, and then I'm like, okay, hold on. And I have to go around, usually to like maybe a back alley, bathroom, dark corner, and I usually have to put my hair up and put a cardigan on, because I can't answer a text or an email in a halter top. That would be inappropriate. And so I have to, read the message, what's going on, come up with a really nice response, and usually done within 5 to 10 minutes, and take the cardigan off, release my hair. No one even knew I was gone. Right? Now, I love doing that for people. I just wish the reasons why they would contact me when I'm off duty would be more interesting. Like if you're gonna, intrude on me, I want it to be severe. But it's typically not. An example could be something like, I know we've been working on these boundaries for months, and I was really trying, Jessica, but I couldn't do it. I let my cat lick my ice cream again. My boyfriend made fun of me, and I don't know what to do. And I'm low-key making fun of you too. That's not what I say. And a common thing between the layers is that there's a theme of duality. And I love to be able to hold the duality, right? I get to connect with so many people with love and compassion, but then I get to connect with even more people with judgment and hate. And some recent times I got to enjoy that duality, because I honestly do love to hate and judge. It's like a, it feels good. I grew up, I'm a I guess mid-millennial, so Mean Girls was in my prime. I dreamed of a burn book, whatever. Anyone go to the gym? Gym goers? Okay, a couple. All right. The rest of you, you'll get there, or you'll find your fitness elsewhere. It's good for you, right? You don't need to be skinny, just move around. It's good for your mental health. Anyways, for those that go to the gym, and for those that don't, there's always a guy, usually one, at the gym. Big. Or at least he thinks he's big. And he's stacking 45-pound plates onto the bar, right? And it's usually doing some weird movement. Like, I don't know what that does. What are we achieving? And usually their neck is like, I'm like, that can't be good. Drops the bar, walks away. It's not that I can't move those 45-pound plates. I can. I go to the gym. But what an asshole. That wasn't part of my routine. So I'm pretty pissed, but then I think, you know, it's okay. It's okay that you can't finish a job. Your dad probably walked out on you. Another example is not too long ago, I was at the movies with my brother, and there was a father and son. The son was pretty young, and this father brought his son with his iPad. And his iPad was playing something. Also, we were watching Baby Girl. Shouldn't be bringing a child to Baby Girl. For those that don't know, watch it. You may or may not thank me later. But on high volume, you know, why do people do that? There's a special world for you if you're going to bring your child with an iPad full volume. Boy, did I want to punch that child. But then I thought, you know, that dad, he can't be present. It's probably because he, you know, had parents that also were absent, and he's trying to follow their legacy in hopes that he gets their attention. You know, in all, I love my job. I love being able to help people. I love to be able to get paid to have conversations that tend to be quite interesting. And unfortunately, I didn't go in for the money. I was hoping there'd be some money. There's not. Thank you, George Bush, No Child Left Behind era survivor. But it's okay, because I really got into it for the gossip. Thank you.
You know what's fun? I also work in mental health as my day job, and that's a really fun job to have because I didn't really go to college for that. I did what is called peer support, and what peer support means is that I take all of the fun things that I did, and then I get a cheap certification. And I go into a room with mental health professionals, and I'm there also pretending all the things I did weren't fun. And so I get to sit with people, and they'll say things like, oh man, you ever do cocaine? I'm like, I'm a drummer, of course I have. But I mean, not for fun, I mean, just to sober up after I drank. Let's not go crazy. But that's a fun thing. I mean, people have really interesting jobs. Like, what do you do? What's your job?
My job?
Yeah, you. What's your job?
I'm a store manager for a grocery store.
Store manager for a grocery store. Let me ask you this. At your job, does anyone ever say anything that sounds like this? So, I've been thinking a lot since the last time we talked about choices. And this morning, I think I made good choices. I looked at my toothbrush and I thought I could turn it into a shank and stab myself in the carotid artery a couple of times, and then I wouldn't have to come here anymore, but I didn't do that, so choices. And then I was thinking, you know, I'm on my way here and I can see what the front of that bus smells like, but I didn't do that either. And my boss said I gotta stop telling people that. You ever hear anything like that? No? Okay. Let's move on to the micro impression, shall we? True stories. Let's see, micro impression. So let's see, there's a dark spot back here where there's no lights, so I'm pointing at you. Give me a famous person.
Trump, of course.
Okay, Trump, of course. Sorry. Here we go. All right. So this is Donald Trump watching a YouTube video of a cat being thrown off of a treadmill. All right, so now coming to the stage is a man who is so brave that you're about to find out why. Please welcome Ned Martinez.
Thank you. Hey. You guys are probably wondering why this guy's got a chicken on his head, right? Yeah! I lost a bet. So, as you guys can probably tell, I'm a runner. I run to taco trucks, and I run away from relationships. Specifically because my wife would kill me if I had a side piece. My wife is part Swedish, and I'm actually half Swedish and half Mexican. The term is Swexican. Don't call me Mexikish, that's racist, okay? So in my cultures, we've got some interesting food things going on. So in Mexican culture, we don't waste any part of the cow, right? When you go to order your tacos, you see all kinds of options that you probably don't even understand exactly what they all are. I thought about this in watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. You know, us Mexicans are like, the scene where they're eating the monkey brains, they're like, oh yeah, that checks out. Cabeza es muy deliciosa. Por supuesto. But Swedes, we take the cake when it comes to weird food, okay? Not just pickled herring, which is odd, but we also have something called lutefisk, okay? Now lutefisk, in order to prepare it properly, you dry out fish, you soak it in lye. Does anyone know what lye is used for? Soap and drain cleaner. Yes, drain cleaner, people. So the way that you prepare the fish is you soak it in stuff that you're not supposed to ingest, and then you try to rinse off enough of the poison before cooking it in order to enjoy it. But I will say that lutefisk tacos are bomb. Like, you should try it. With all the health foods, you know, and standards, like when I was little, I remember going to the grocery store and seeing lard, and my mom's like, we don't buy lard, we buy country crock, because that's healthier. And nowadays I hear like these like kind of, all these restaurants are popping up, and they're like, well, we cook our food in beef tallow. Well, you know what beef tallow is, right? It's lard. It made full circle. Now lard's healthy again. It's great. I try to be healthy, so I tried intermittent fasting. So I didn't eat between meals, and I didn't eat between my snacks, and I gained 30 pounds. It didn't work at all. I've struggled with depression, so I decided to become a stand-up comedian. Now I struggle with depression and anxiety. That's great. I called one of those numbers, you know, for help, and I went ahead and bought the extended warranty. I mean, just, you know, it made sense at the time. one of the things I've noticed in being recorded and doing stand-up, I'm kind of new to it, is I have an RNF, a resting Ned face. I see some of you have it too. And so it's hard because, you want to be expressive, and I don't have that naturally smiley face. So when I'm out in the crowd, I'm watching a show, a comedy show, and I'm laughing like, and if I really like it, I'm like, it's just not a good look. I'm sorry. That's something I have to work on. I was thinking about this the other day. I've never met a grumpy person named Joy. So maybe I should change my name. I do try to find things to experience joy and put joy in my life. Like I love cooking. And so in the kitchen, we all have that one drawer, right? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? What's it called? Junk drawer. How weird is that, right? What's in your junk drawer?
Papers.
Papers. Awesome. Probably ones you don't need, right? What's in your junk drawer?
Rubber bands, baking supplies.
And baking supplies. Now that's an interesting mix there. In my junk drawer, I have a garage. Yep. Yeah, my wife says I'm a hoarder. I prefer the term collector of things.
Yeah.
No, I am a curator of useful items, is what I am. And it's my job to find that those useful items forever home. Somewhere there's got to be someone that needs that thing, that bolt that I have that I'm storing. I do collect a lot of things like hobbies, and so that's part of all the stuff in my garage, and then ideas. And so I did start writing a book about 10 years ago on self-discipline. It was about that time I also started writing a second book on how to achieve your goals. And then I got kind of distracted, and because I thought about maybe I should write a book about procrastination. But I've collected jobs as well. Like currently I'm a therapist and a life coach. Are there any other managers out there? Managers? I heard there's yeah. Sometimes it's more like being a therapist and a life coach than actually like managing an operation. But I had some interesting jobs. So I worked at a tuxedo rental company. And I had this weird knack where I could size people just by looking at them. Like, for instance, sir, stand up and give us a spin. All right, so you wear like a 42-inch jacket. You've got like a 16.5 sleeve. You're like a 34, 36-inch waist, 34 print jeans, right? Yeah. And a 35 sleeve in your shirts. Yep. Yeah, pretty close. It's a weird party trick. It's really not that useful. But I did work at Victoria's Secret, and they hire men. It's crazy, right? And there was a sign in the back of the house, and it said, "Wear your best push-up bra." And I found it comfortable and supportive. I was a bra sizer. In fact, ma'am, stand up. Give us a spin. You wear a 42-inch jacket also. Yeah, I'm Ned Martinez. That's my time.
When Ned was talking about food, I was reminded of something. I had to stop the other day after work. I was really hungry. I didn't feel like cooking anything. I know we've all been in this position before. And so I stopped at a terrible restaurant that I assumed I could just get something fast. I'm going to make up a name of a terrible restaurant. Let's just call it Applebee's. I pull in there, and I go in, and I tell them, table for one, I'm sad. And they say, oh, it'll be about 40 minutes. Is that okay? 40 minutes for Applebee's. That will never be okay. That should not ever happen to anyone. If you are waiting 40 minutes for Applebee's, something is going wrong in your life. I can't think of a single thing that I would wait 40 minutes for. I mean, since when did deep fried potato skins turn into rock stars that we're just waiting to see them? I don't think that that's fair. But I think that they're missing an opportunity because there are ways that we could make these things worth waiting for. And I have an idea. The idea I have is over in India, they treat cows like gods. Now, stay with me. If we could go to India and find a cow that's been raised by Sherpas, treated well, bedazzled, maybe even they put wonderful things on it and they scent it and they rub it with oils, and then one day a child is walking through the village, accidentally pokes the cow in the eye, and then everyone goes blind. They could buy that cow, take it over here, dissect it, and then put it on the menu as Vengeful God burgers. And we could all go blind from eating these things. I don't want to eat anything unless it's going to give me a life-altering curse. That would be something worth waiting 40 minutes for. When would you ever have another story like that again? They're missing an opportunity. Go to McDonald's, get a quarter pounder, sure, you know that you're getting disappointment. But if you take yourself over to Chick-fil-A, where they've got a chicken who can make an entire child blow up into a balloon and float away into the air, that is something I would pay for. But I'm weird. I've lost you. All right, so let me see if I can get you back. Let's see. Back here, can you give me the name of a famous person?
Adam Sandler.
Adam
Sandler.
Adam Sandler, great, fantastic. This is going to be Adam Sandler getting ready to watch a dirty movie on TV. Yeah. Oh. Yes. Yes. And then the cable goes out. Come on! All right. So, well, that is the end of the first half. So, here's what's about to happen right now. It is 8:01. We are going to come back at 8:10. We will come back at 8:10, go out, hit the restroom, mingle amongst yourselves, get yourself some drinks and snacks, and we will be right back!
Yeah, I'm a biased opinion. I love Pablo. Pablo is the first guy. He's super funny. He's so good. Pablo's good. Joe really likes what this guy person. Yeah, he was talking about the New York story. It was a long build, and then it was a really successful payoff. I was like, man, this guy is really good. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is my mom. Oh, yeah, during the freedom, yeah. I think she forgot about it. It was just during the blood freeze day. It's all good. It works.
introduction, but asked for one anyway. One hand slapping the other one into submission makes a wonderful sound. Please do it now for Fletch Mohansky. Oh, yes! What are we doing? What are we doing? We're doing a lot of things. Here's what we're doing. I thought that I would start this second half in a really interesting way. I wanted to let you guys know I have not always been a California person. I hail from the land of Michigan. The annoying thing where people show you their hand and point at it. Right, I do that. But I didn't always live in Michigan. I also lived in Colorado for a little while. And while I was living in Colorado, my wife got a job in California, and so we were apart for about a year. And that was a weird situation. And so as we were apart, I went to visit her one time, and she said, you know, we've been apart for a while. I know things have been a little strange. And so I know that our relationship has been a little off because we haven't been connecting on a physical level. And so, you know, I bought a toy. And I said, you know, good for you. I'm positive, you know, I'm whatever, like you do you. I am a sex positive person, and I thought I was. And she says, I bought you one too. And so I start thinking about, and now just to set the stage for what it is we're dealing with here, I grew up in a small town going to a Lutheran school, which is like Catholicism without the touching. And my social studies teacher came in to teach sex ed, loosening his tie, putting a cigarette in his mouth, and telling us things like, you know, the girls in your class shouldn't be touched, but the Jewish girls down the street, they're no, this is a thing that, I don't agree with it. Another thing that happened was after that, they put on what I can only describe as a genital snuff film. With all of your favorite stars, the hot dog in a microwave penis, open sores vagina. And so they were like, and so I was kind of turned off by all of this, and so I'm ashamed of everything that my body does. And so now I'm in this moment where I'm being handed this gigantic box, and it was very heavy. And so I get it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm a modern person, I can do this, it's fine. And then I think about having to go on the airplane. And the part where they say, do you have any large electronics? Yes, I do. So I'm working myself up. I get to the point where I'm thinking, this is all gonna be okay. You know what? I should be proud of myself. I'm taking steps to be a responsible partner, and I'm gonna do this, and you know what? I'm just gonna be proud. Until I take the thing out of my bag and I put it in the bin, and I see right on the front of it, it says, premium male masturbator. No, and then I flip it over, and it's not better. It looks like a cross-section of RoboCop's colon. And so I send it through, and as it's going through, I start to panic. And in that panic, I forget to empty my pockets, and I start to walk through the thing. Now, I walk through, and the one thing they don't want is someone acting erratically. And I proceed to be, let's see, how can I describe it? I walk through, and I calmly tell my body to send the color red to my face and ears, and then start babbling incoherently. Is it the ring? Because titanium doesn't do the thing when it's not, and my hands, I should have washed them. You know, the swab isn't necessary, but you know, sometimes my wallet has a, woo. So they're telling me to calm down. Meanwhile, I'm looking over at the x-ray machine, and I can see the woman operating it, and I see the thing go by, and comes back, and she looks up, and goes, and I am feeling so much shame, which weirdly starts to feel comfortable, because I'm used to feeling ashamed about these things. And so at least it's something I know. So now it's going down the ramp, but in front of it, there is a mother and her 5-year-old boy. And so my thing is flying down the ramp, their stuff is behind me, and I'm going, oh no, oh no. And the kid looks at it, Mommy, what is that? And she says, don't look at other people's things. And I'm really freaking out. They get me to calm down. I think about it. I gather my things. I put them in the backpack. I get on the airplane. I stow it under the seat. I get home. And I feel like, you know what? I've lived through this experience. And then I take it out of the box. And I plug it in, and I set it next to the nightstand, and there's this little red light that goes back and forth on it. And it looks like RoboCop now. And all I can think about is that scene in the movie where RoboCop says, your move, creep. Not great, not great. Speaking of not great, how about a micro impression? How about that? Yes, fantastic. Now that we've talked about my man parts. All right, let's see. You back here, all the way in the back. Give me the name of a celebrity.
You already picked that.
Then someone else that I didn't. Yes, you.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. Okay. This is Dolly Parton eating a bowl of corn chowder and chipping a tooth. Ooh. All right, thank you. All right. Now, coming to the stage is someone who's never chipped a tooth on corn, but has cut her teeth on comedy. Please welcome to the stage our very own Big D!
Good evening. That was a
remember sex. I used to have a lot of sex. Not good sex. Great sex. The best sex ever. I'm kind of competitive, if you can't tell. But not like in a cutthroat kind of way, more like I was a kid raised in the 70s, and any chance to become an Olympic athlete and beat the pants off the competition was always in the back of my mind kind of way. Yeah. And I'm also kind of a nerd, so any chance that I can do research into a topic, do a deep dive and immerse myself in all this knowledge and become an expert so that I can just become an expert and know all about it. So, how does a competitive nerd become great at sex? Research! Books, illustrations, diagrams, pamphlets, charts and graphs, deep dives into engineering documents, schematics. Yeah, so, but the best part was always independent field study. So when I turned 18, I lived in Chicago, so I went into a legitimate bookstore. I felt as an adult, I was 18, I was legal, right? And I found the best book, How to Make Love to a Man by Alexandra Penny. It was basically the handbook for field study, right? Yeah, I was so proud of this. And I brought it up to the clerk, put it on the counter. She picked it up. We sell this here? Yep, you sure do. And thank goodness, because how else am I going to learn this stuff? Anything worth doing is worth doing well. She carded me. I don't think it was official store policy, but she was ready to die on that hill, and I really wanted that book. So eventually I became a therapist, sex therapist, mostly self-taught, self-certified. Yeah, but I was highly sought after, well-renowned, and a lot of people call that dating. Okay, but I felt like I had raised it to an art form, you know? Like tantric, next level, quantum entanglement shit. Dope. Yeah, but like any artist, I wasn't getting paid for all my dedicated hours. I mostly worked on the barter system. But I wined and dined at the finest restaurants and wore beautiful clothing and jewelry I couldn't otherwise afford. Yeah, it was the early 80s, so disco ball was ballin' and coke was flowing and Quaaludes were poppin' and the DeLorean was still just a car. Eventually, I got tired of the whole dating in the big city kind of thing, but I thought, I need to settle down, start a family. So I did. I got married. Twice. In total, I was married 36 years. The first one lasted 7 years. And what happens after 7 years, people? Itch. Yep, we developed the itch. And that got scratched. I chalked it up to research. But the second one, I thought, well, I need to find another competitive nerd like myself. Because, you know, like meets like and all that. So I was married for 29 years the second time. But that ended when he confessed that the previous 15 years he'd been stepping out on me, doing his own research. Yeah, he basically scratched 2 itches. I was still queen of my castle. If you know, you know. Yeah, but eventually he stepped out with the ultimate femme fatale, the big C. Yeah, I mean, who steps out for cancer? But yeah, if karma hadn't taken him out, I probably would have. mama is a bitch, and we girls have to stick together. Yeah, so now I'm single again. I'm back in the game, the dating game, so to speak. But man, has it changed a lot in the past 30-something years, right? I mean, we're swiping yes and no on the pickup apps, basically. Right? And, but I don't know, it's electronic pictures of people. I mean, it's electronic, you know, I don't know. Just, you don't even know if that's a real picture of somebody, because with AI these days, I mean, come on, you know, like, really? Yeah, digital people. I need to smell a person first. Yep, some people say love at first sight, but nope. The universe gave me this schnoz for a reason. Point and sniff. I'm a big sniffer, and I like to get right in there and take a big whiff, you know? Yum. Or, no, yuck. Yeah, they gotta pass the smell test. Anybody else here a big sniffer? Right? Real people. Yep. But the thing is that people have a very distinct body odor. No two are the same. It's like fingerprints, you know? And scientists call this MHC, Major Histocompatibility Complex. MHC is basically one way your body signals compatibility with someone. And MHC is responsible for your body odor. So scientists tell us, through research, that people prefer others with different MHC genes. Yeah, so it's all dependent on your diet, genetics, hygiene, and the environment. And it's one way that we're trying to prevent the destructive inbreeding, right? And this applies to all species, except maybe the royals. But MHC is also responsible for your closeness, your intimacy. And it's how bloodhounds find their target. I know because I did the research. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. It's time for another micro-impression theater, but I have an interesting way to do this one. We're going to try it and see if we can shake things up a little bit. So for you, tell me, let's do it this way. Tell me something that you did today.
Wash the dishes.
Wash the dishes, great. This is former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura washing the dishes and breaking the plate. Oh, God damn it. All right, here we go. All right. Next, coming to the stage is a raconteur that is going to tickle your ears. That sounded a little weird. All right, let me try this again. Coming to the stage is a guy who's going to say things you will enjoy. Please welcome Steve Chalkin!
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I don't know about you, but suddenly I'm very aware of my body odor. You know, we can loosen the tension if everybody just sniffs the person next to them and assures that it's okay. But, you know, anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating Labor Day here. Though I have to say, it's kind of a nowhere holiday. I mean, celebrating labor by staying as far away from the stuff as you possibly can? Oh yeah, okay. But my wife and I actually have good reason to celebrate. We got an email from our grandson, and our grandson let us in on this investment opportunity in Krypton. You know, I mean, I don't know much about this stuff, but I do research where I can, and this looks legit. And Larry, you know, he's kind of like a financial genius. So I sent him a money order for $11,000. You know, the amazing thing is I didn't know a thing about Krypton. I didn't even know I had a grandson. You know? And in Nigeria? Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought? So, you know, we determined, okay, we've got some money coming in, so we're gonna go to a fancy restaurant in Santa Barbara. I don't have to tell you guys, there's a big difference between Ventura and Santa Barbara. In Santa Barbara, fine dining is when you sit down and they bring you the platter of amuse-bouche, these hors d'oeuvres the chef has prepared especially for you, compliments of the chef. In Ventura, they bring you crayons and maybe a whole coloring book on the house. On the house. So, okay, we're in this beautiful, beautiful Santa Barbara place. The waves are crashing below, the candles are flickering, soft jazz is playing, and there's this amazing, elegant, older woman sitting right across the aisle from us, and she's dining alone, and she's sipping her white wine, and the maitre d' comes over and says, "Is everything fine?" And she says, "Well, it's been some time since I ordered my green salad." And he says, "I'm terribly sorry, I'll look into it right now." And he did. He kicked open the door of the kitchen and he yelled, "Hey, you, get your tongue out of your ass, make this lady salad!" Oh my God, I was appalled. And then she leaned over to us with the nicest smile and she said, "They do organic here like nowhere else." Oh, you know, why is it? Why is it that everything these days is so nasty and filthy? I'll give you an example. I was at the car wash right here in Ventura. And I was there to pick up my Ford Taurus, and I told the young man behind the counter. And so he got on the intercom, "Dude, get the old guy's Taurus." "No, not the old guy with the walker, the old guy with the limp and the big nose." Yeah, I was kind of confused most of the time. I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know what to say. And so next thing I know, the manager has come scurrying out. And he says, "You know, look, we're going to give you the kiwi aromatherapy free of charge, you know, on account of the bumper sticker." And I said, "Oh, you mean my Restore Civility bumper sticker? Are you a civility fan? I'm so pleased to meet you. I love that bumper sticker." He said, "Dude, some a-hole out back took a screwdriver to it and started chipping away at the letters, so it ain't Restore Civility anymore. Just 4 letters." I said, "Oh, Restore, R-E-S-T. Okay, I can go with that. That's a nice reminder to stop and smell the flowers, rest." "Dude, you got your C, you got your L, you got your I, you got your T." I said, "What? You mean Restore Civility has become click?" And he goes, "Dude." I go, "Dude." And he goes, "Dude." So, by the way, when did "dude" come to have such stardom in California? You know, I mean, other states have like beautiful sayings. New Hampshire has "live free or die." New Mexico, "land of enchantment." Even California, on the state seal, our official motto is not "dude," but "Eureka," which is ancient Greek for "I've found it." So, like, dude, whatever. Anyway, you know, I just want to get out of there. I just want to get out of the car wash. And so I said, please, get my car. And the manager shakes my hand. He's really a nice man. And he gets on the intercom. Dude, get the Taurus. Not that one, the Clit Taurus. Dude, bring the guy's Clit Taurus out. I can't tell you how bad I feel about the whole thing. This whole clitoris thing it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. Well, you know, the thing is, I started the group. I started the group Restore Civility, so that people of different viewpoints could come together and actually discuss things in a civil way, and maybe even reach some sort of agreement, maybe even a compromise. But then, you know, some knucklehead Republicans joined and I had to shut it down. But, you know, actually, they're really, really nice people. But the fascist thing just isn't for everybody. So, I'm going down the street. I'm going as slow as legally permissible because I don't want to draw more attention, me and my clit. And all of a sudden, these people are passing me, and they're going like, beep, beep, friendly little beep, beeps, and they're giving me the high sign, and a school bus full of kids almost tilts. They're on my side, and these kids are holding up like pieces of their manila paper with the word clit and sunbursts and flowers. And then there's this car full of older ladies. They roll down the windows and they go, hey, yeah, you go, guy. And they're like chugging bottles of Chardonnay on their way to book group, no doubt. Anyway, I finally get home. Jane is out tending the roses. She's trimming the roses in the yard. She comes over, she looks at me, she looks at the car, she looks at the bumper sticker, and she says, Clit, after 42 years of marriage, you finally found it. And I say, Eureka! Thank you very much.
That man is full of so many words. He's the only person I know that could make all of that sound like poetry. But that's what stand-up comedy is, if you think about it. It's using words in a fun way. I think that words have a lot of power, and they have the power that we give them, and it's a really fun thing that we get to do that. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I think that tonight, we've heard it a couple of times, we're all grown-ups, and I think that the word fuck gets a bad rep for the purpose of this. Like, it's the meanest thing you can tell someone to go do to themselves, but it's the nicest thing you can do to someone else. And let's be honest, you're probably gonna go fuck yourself anyway. But it is true, and the thing that I like is I like when people put it in the wrong spot in a sentence. Like when they're talking and they're saying like, dude, I love fucking toast. And I'm like, what? Fuck toast? This happened to me once when I was with my cousin Al. We were walking past a farm and we were just walking along and there's these horses running around majestically, muscles rippling, the mane in the wind. And he's like, oh, dude, I love fucking horses. And I was like, what? And the genie was out of the bottle. The toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't unsay that. He's like, you better not tell anybody. I'm like, you better make peace with the fact that from now on, you're horse fucker, because I'm telling everybody. And it doesn't go away. I was at the beach with a friend of mine, and he said, he was like, yeah, I got this sunburn, man. I was too many Cool Coors 16 ounces with the boys, and we played some ultimate frisbee, and I kind of fell asleep on the beach and woke up 2 hours later and I was fucking a lobster. Point of order on that though. Because technically, if you woke up, The lobster was assaulting you. That's... Was it wearing a colorful sweater? With the pinching and the... No, all right. We're not going to invoke that. You know what? We're going to leave that impression over here. We're going to reach for another one. Let's reach for something happy. All right, so let's go this way. You, sir.
The Rock.
The Rock, great. All right, so this is The Rock finding out that there's an interesting charge on his phone bill. And there it is. All right. Now, coming to the stage is a woman who is not only going to knock your socks off, but she's already knocked off her own. Please welcome Sally!
Let me just grab everything. Oh my goodness. Hi guys, how are you? Oh, I'm Sally. I am barefoot. Well, barefoot funny if you're looking for me. Hopefully a little funny. I am a little extra. I have a little extra. I have a lot of extra opinions, in case you're looking for any. I have a lot of extra facial expressions. Kind of bites me though, you know, like you're trying to get out there and do your thing and people say stuff, you know? And you want to look at them and you want to be kind, so you don't say anything, you know, you just kind of look at them. It's like, oh, that's an opinion you have. And then my face is like a jerk and it just betrays me. Like everyone is out here judging, right? But my face is actually tattling on me, right? It's just out there going, yeah, that was a thing you just said, isn't it? Out loud in front of everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and not judge you for that. But my face is gonna say some other things. Have that little resting, aw, bless your heart kind of face. You know what I mean? I have a lot of extra words, you know? I like to share them, so I like to listen to other people's conversation because I need places to put all these words, you know? So I listen to people in coffee shops, you know, grocery lines. If I'm ever standing behind you, I'm definitely listening to new conversation. I'm definitely going to help you out if you're in the bathroom. I'm one of those people, yeah. People out there, you know, they're trying to potty train their kids. My kids, they all use the bathroom. I mean, they're boys, so you know. You know, they're looking for mechanics for their car. Yeah, my car runs. They go to taco trucks. I've had food poisoning. I can help, you know. They talk about in-laws. I mean, I got some words. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but Starbucks Trente cup holds a full bottle of wine, so you might want to remember that for your next staff meeting or kids' sporting event, you know. Ooh, marketing. Marketing has gotten out of hand these days, man. It's been going on for centuries, but I think with the invention of all the digital, we've really taken it to some extreme levels. I just think about, they have convinced us that in order to get the best deals on the planet, you need to buy a membership to their store. So they're actually making money on your membership money, right? So you're paying them. You're paying them to shop, to buy things. Like, what is this? It's gotten out of hand. You know, I remember back in the day, it was like Gemco. Anybody remember? Like, Gemco was pretty old. And there was Price Club, right? Everybody was going to Price Club, and I'm like, you're paying for it? Turned into Costco. And then Walmart had to come out with theirs. They're like, we're going to get in on this. We're going to go Sam's Club. I don't know, man. So now you're getting Walmart stuff, but you're paying to go. But now, do you know they have Walmart Plus? You can pay to shop. Like, who's doing this? Yeah, I just think, man, I knew it was time for us to give up our Costco membership. Every time we go, it would be like $300. 200 of that was not food. Was all that, ooh, that's a good deal. I think I need a whole lot of all that. But I knew it was time to quit when I walked out with a wetsuit. 8 months pregnant. Because the store guy said I looked sexy. Yeah, it was getting out of hand, man. Disneyland, you look at Disneyland, they're marketing to all of us Southern Californians constantly. The park is already packed. You want us to buy year-round memberships. You want us to get deal. Why are you asking us to get into your park? They had a deal for a while. Such a good deal, man. Southern California. You live in Southern California, you get them free on your birthday. Isn't that great? So great. We went for my husband's birthday. Cost us $1,000. It was $1,000 to go for one day for his birthday. I hope he liked that. Yeah. I mean, what's not to like about $10 churros? Because you can only get those at Disneyland. I mean, we live in Southern California. Where are you gonna get a good churro? At Disneyland. You get $25 microwave hamburgers. I don't know where you can get that. That's right. You can pay for lockers at the front of the park to store your stuff that you aren't going to need until you're on the other side. Also, why are you crying? It's the happiest place on earth. It says so right in the slogan, man. It's the happiest place on earth. Oh, but marketing has just gotten completely out of hand. And we label everything these days. Everyone has got, I meet people who've got a litany of letters after their names that they didn't get in college, I'm telling you, man, I was scrolling social media and I came across this weird post and it goes, passive suicide. What is it? People with passive suicide don't have a plan. And I was like, what? Well, where was this when I was like 19? Because I graduated, I didn't have a whole lot of plans. Maybe I had passive suicide, right? Maybe I needed to see somebody. I don't have a whole lot of plans right now. I mean, I'm out here doing this, Maybe I have passive suicide today. I'm gonna have to see one of these therapists that got up here. Nah, I'm a Gen X latchkey kid. We don't see people. We're the walk it off generation, man. We just walk it off. You'll be fine. You just walk it off. Ice it, it'll be good. But I just thought, man, with marketing, right? Could you imagine what the commercials might be? Do you or someone you love have passive suicide? People with passive suicide don't have a plan. Go from passive to active suicide with our easy course. Only $99. Payable up front. Lifetime access. Yeah. Sign up today. Get ready to not make a dish for your next family or group gathering. Maybe Sweden can use that. I'll just pitch it over there for their little pod, The rest of the world is on the parade. Oh, yeah, back then I was never going to get married, and I was for sure never going to have kids. So apparently also a passive wife and a passive mom. Oh, yeah. I got 3 boys. My oldest one, super creative. Likes to invent a lot of new things, Probably helped he was locked out of the house a lot. But I think there are enough products. If you have searched Amazon, which by the way you pay for, everyone's paying it, and you don't know how much you're paying, by the way. But if you have searched, you can find anything. just enough products out there, don't you think? But a lot of them have just bad branding. Just horrible marketing. I just think about adult diapers. And I just think, who? You know, this would have been the #2 choice in 2020 when we were having some toilet paper problems. You know. Nobody was setting limits on those in the store. Nobody was buying them off the shelf. But what if we rebranded, huh? What if we called them travel pants? Travel pants? You know, you could get different colors, you know, match your style, you know. You could get shorts, because man, is it hot? Is it hot? Get some shorts for summer. If you were a teacher, you know, those teachers, they can't leave their classrooms, but you know what? Travel pants got you covered. It's summer, going on vacation. Your car, get on that road trip, 500 miles to the tank, but you can only go 2, that's okay. Travel pants lets you go as far as your car. Concerts, right? Movies, never miss your favorite scene. Performing on stage, drinking a lot of... Don't worry, folks. I got my travel pants on. Doing good. You know what? I would like to do a little something. If I could take a little Be Real for my little friends in Europe. Would you guys be up for that? All right, let's go. Smile. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your laughs, and I'm sure everyone out here does too. Let's bring up Chris.
Give it up for Sally! Yes! Or you can just do what I do and just be confident without your travel pants. No one needs to know, but they will. Speaking of things that people will know but didn't ask for, coming to the stage right now is something I asked for, and you're going to get it. Please welcome the inevitable Don Muse! Oh, wait, sorry. Don, stay with me. Don, give me a celebrity.
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. All right, here we go. This is Corey Feldman being told that he's overdrawn in his checking account. What? All right, there we go. Please welcome Don Muse.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Don. I hope you're enjoying your time at the bunker. I really love this place. I've learned a lot here. But lately I'm looking at it differently. I'm like, fuck stand-up. I may need to hang out here a while until all this shit blows over. This place is kind of fortified. They said, you know, don't come out here and do any political jokes and because you'll lose half your audience. And I was like, I have a hard time believing that 50% of you guys still support Kid Rock. And Kid Fucker. It had to be said. I feel better. We're gonna move on. Next stop, Hornyville. We'll be there in just a second, I promise. So these are dark times. I look around, there's definitely a lack of love and connection. It is so prevalent. And this is where the bidet comes in. It's more versatile than you think. So, men, get yourself a bidet. You know, wash your backside, it's the right thing to do, and no matter what path you take in life, showing up with a clean butthole is never a mistake. Trust me. Ladies, I don't exactly know how to say this. but get yourself a bidet. It's hygienic, it takes care of your backside, and your hoo-ha. It cuts down on the chance of a UTI, very practical. And if you play your cards right, you just may make a new friend. With benefits. You know what I'm talking about. Ladies, a bidet is like having your own French houseboy. He gently rinses you off. He appears to be done. He lingers a bit longer. It's awkward, a little bit uncomfortable at first, but then you begin to let go. You succumb. Oh, how you succumb. So hard to the pleasures of a bidet. And look at that lady, you've just turned an ordinary wee-wee into a wee-wee. And ladies, isn't your pleasure important? Get the bidet. Because the bidet gets you. The bidet knows that the magic takes place externally. We all have our name for that special place. Some people call it the love button. Others may refer to it as the bean. As in to flick. If you were raised in a repressive household, you may know it as the devil's doorbell. My personal favorite. But get this, whatever you call it, the bidet has been scientifically designed to find it every single time. Like a thoughtful and courteous lover. And ladies, the bidet is a life hack. No more hiding questionable items in your nightstand. No more making up yet another excuse to go horseback riding with your bestie. No. The bidet resides respectfully in your bathroom under the guise of hygiene. Hygiene, how cute, huh, ladies? More like hi, handsome. Right? Men, back to you. I hope you were taking notes. Don't be intimidated by the bidet, learn from the bidet. Not from some lame-ass pornos that are literally doing everything but the one thing needed to bring a woman pleasure. Gentlemen, I beseech you, I've been wanting to use that word. I beseech you, let the bidet show you the way back to the devil's doorbell and ring, ring, ring it all night long. I think my work is done here. That's my time. Thank you.
Okay, so real talk. I really wanted to get in on that action. I don't have anything important to say. The last thing that I have to say here before we bring out our final comedian tonight, right? Boo!
No!
Hey, watch it. It's time for another micro impression. So let's see. Somebody all the way in the back. Give me a famous person, please.
George Clooney.
George Clooney, fantastic. This is George Clooney getting a phone call to see if he wants to appear in a Applebee's commercial. How much? All right, now, please welcome to the stage a man who does not know the boundaries that we have set for him, and even if we did, he wouldn't follow them. Please welcome the chameleon, the acrobat, the inevitable. I already said that, and you know what? I'm saying it again. AJ Ahern.
Kind of feel bad interrupting Billy. I'm a big Billy guy. Not like Billy Goat Gruff, though. We don't have to throw it back that far. Oh, you can give me more beauty laughs. Come on. First, let's hear it for everybody that went already tonight. And for Chris and half of those micro impressions. I try to be a nice guy. I do. It's hard though. I've been having a little identity crisis. I'm really trying hard to not be an asshole. Not like one of Dawn's assholes. I mean, a lot of respect. A lot of respect to a clean asshole. And they're hard to come by. A dirty one is hard to come around. But I've been trying really hard. I have. But I've been getting pushed, right? Like, last night, I was coming here, I was running a little late, so I had to eat in the car. And my go-to spot for that is El Pollo Loco, the crazy chicken. It's good chicken. So I go up and I go to place my order, and yes, good evening, welcome to El Pollo Loco, what can I get for you tonight? Yeah, could I please do a creamy chicken chipotle quesadilla? And I know it comes with the guac on the side, but I'm gonna be eating it in the car. So if you don't mind, could you put that on the inside for me? Sorry, sir, we can't do that. You know, I've been coming here an embarrassing amount of times lately. And every time, like, oh yeah, sure, we'll put it in for you. Would you like anything else, sir? Yeah, sure. Could I do a water, no ice? And if you don't mind, like maybe reconsidering, because I'm not going to be able to put the guac on the quesadilla, I'd really appreciate it if you could just put it in there for me. They've done it before. We'll have your total at the front for you, sir. Been trying, you know, I start pulling up. I'm like, I've been trying really hard, but you know what? This is it. I'm gonna be an asshole. Come watch me, Don. I'm gonna be an asshole. It's gonna happen. And I got myself ready for the talk, you know. You know, I try to be nice, but this is it. I'm ready. And I was all heated. I had the whole talk going in my head. I pull up and she looks at me and says, sir, we were able to get the guacamole in there for you. Well, thank you, but I just had a midlife crisis. Thought I was going to become an asshole. I was kind of looking forward to it, to be honest. I finally got to that break point. But I kept driving, and I enjoyed my quesadilla. So I get on the freeway, and right as I get cut off by this asshole driving a Tesla. Because they all are, right? And he cuts me off, and I'm like, you jerk. And I say he, you know, I'm assuming it was a he. I don't know, but it's more socially acceptable if I assume that it was a he. And so I finally broke, and I said, you no. And I start doing this, and then, you know, this isn't like, you know, party on, Wayne. Party on, guy. This is jack off. My mom taught me that. Thanks, Mom. My mom taught me that, right? And obviously you're jacking off way up here because you have a huge penis, right? Thank you, Dad. You know, you're going, right? Dad, why don't you stand up now? But I was going off, and I felt terrible because then I realized in the heat of my anger, the Tesla wasn't even in front of me anymore. And the lady in front of me is just I can see her in the mirror, and she's just like, what the did I do? I'm just driving. And I felt terrible. So, you know, I thought of a new invention. that could help us out with this. Big invention guy, watch out. So far in cars, we have blinkers, right? And we have the horn. You can't really direct those things. Granted, it is called a directional, but let's not be technical here. You can't really direct it where you want it to go. So what if we had like a walkie-talkie system? And you could be like, "Fuck you, asshole! Why the hell would you cut me off?" and send it to the right car. And then come to the car in front of you and say, "Just so you know, that wasn't for you." But if you're getting excited by this hand motion, there's a guy in the back that does bra sizings. I like you guys. You guys are nice. Half of those were actual laughs. I appreciate it. That's why I dress nice for you. I wore my good jeans. Some might say they're great jeans. Oh my God. You can't say that anymore. You can't be like, "I have great jeans." Thanks, Sydney Sweeney. But it's a slippery slope. I mean, I don't want to get too soft here with it. I mean, these are called homophones, right? So like, I jumped ahead of myself. It's a slippery slope, right? I used to work at a hotel. It's called the Homewood Suites, right? Are we gonna have to change that name so we don't offend the diabetics, right? Or the other day, I got adventurous. The crazy chicken had steak. Are we gonna have to change the name of steak so we don't offend vampires? Or Jesus? And don't worry, the forgiving group, it's gonna be okay. But yeah, those are called homophones. Two words, similar sound, same or different meanings. We might have to change the name of homophones. For the record, I don't care what pocket you sleep with your phone in. But it caused a lot of controversy. And I think it's actually going to bring about a change in advertising, because who doesn't love controversy more than a politician? So I started coming up with, maybe what those auditions would look like for some of those politician endorsements. So first off, I'll go with Bill Clinton. Out America, it's me, Bill. I'm back. Hillary let me out of the house. Oh, okay, go ahead and get started. All right, thank you. America, I know the economy, it's not in a great place. Times are hard. They are. So I want you to just maybe consider ZipRecruiter for internships. They're great. I know some people think they blow. Maybe they do. Oh, dang, did I miss a line? Okay, do you need me to do it again? Yes, okay. I don't need to do the whole thing, you can just stick it in there? I got in trouble for that once, okay. ZipRecruiter. I was a zipper recruiter, all right. Next one, IKEA. Next time you build a desk, make sure she fits. Maybe Bernie Sanders could come out. Good evening, my fellow Americans. I was recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, and we were discussing how in this most recent election, we had a tough time getting support from the labor unions. I want my fellow laborers to know I also enjoy laying pipe. I used to only be able to lay one block of pipe, but now, thanks to Viagra, I am in the top 1%. Oh, next? Okay. I'm from the great state of Vermont, and I very much enjoy Ben and Jerry's. I forgot the rest of this bit. I'm getting forgetful like my friend Joe. Why don't we bring Bill back out here to do this one? Okay. I'm back, baby. I love Ben and Jerry's.
Usually I like putting my cream on things. I got in trouble for that. You can't do that anymore. So now I put things in my cream. Ben & Jerry's.
Or lastly, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hello, California. I'm back. Get it? Did you know for the low price of $49.99, you can have a maid come to your house every month? $49.99? Wow. Last time I had a maid come, it cost me 18 years of child support. And a marriage to a shriver.
Thank you guys. That's
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it one last time for every single one of the comedians tonight. Okay, let's get all of them up here. Everybody up here right now. Let's all storm the stage. All right, here they come. Fantastic. We're just going to go down the line and reintroduce everyone so you can get all kinds of noises at them. That's not the right way to say that.
Are you throwing things at us again?
What? I've never thrown anything at you that you can prove. All right, so let's go down the line. Joe Justice. And we have Jessica. Dawn. Ned. Steve. Don. Sally. Ben. AJ. Stuff going on here all the time. If you saw this and you thought, I'm funnier than them, you might be. And so take the next stand-up course. The next stand-up course begins October 2nd. Go to justimprov.com. And one last time, just slam those hands together as we walk away feeling like kings. Thank you so much. Good night.
You can wait.